All right, y'all. Great evening, great evening, great evening. Happy New Year. Yeah, I can't be too loud. I'm in another space. I'm in a new space tonight, but happy new year. Listen, drop it in the chat right now. Drop it. I made it to 2026. And I think so many times, like, we forget how big of a deal it is to breathe, to live, to be, to exist, to get the opportunity to walk freely, to think freely, to speak. Like, we forget. And so, y'all, we made it to 2026. Cheers. Happy New Year, y'all. I just literally, I'm on two wheels, so forgive me if I sound out of breath, if I look like I've been fighting a chicken. Like, forgive me, okay? I'm literally straight off of the road. I told the lady downstairs, I said, "Listen, can my car stay right there? I gotta jump on a ladder." She's like, "Yeah, just go, go, go." So I'm grateful even for that. I'm grateful for people that are full of grace around us. And think about that. So many times, like, we just take it for granted. The little bitty things that happen to us day to day. But great evening, great evening. Y'all drop it in the chat. Tell us hello. Tell us happy new year. Where are you joining us from? Do me a favor, because you guys know how this system works. Uh, we need you. I need you to help me. So make sure you've liked the video. Make sure you've shared the video. Even tag a few friends. Hey, Queen Dot McKeever, I see you, Coach. Coach Dot, I see you. Thank you so much for always being present and always being so very supportive. You and I have a date for 2026. We got to meet up somewhere very soon. But we hope again that you brought in the year in a fantastic way. Drop in the chat for me. What did you do to bring the new year in? And what's in your cup? I told you, I literally just walked in this room. I am so excited that my work year starts tomorrow. I have been on vacation for a solid about a week and a half. I was like, nope, you're going to slow down. You are going to give your body rest. You are going to give your mind time to recuperate. You are going to do all of those things because 2026 is set up for you to hit the ground running. And so I'm so happy that, I've just got off the road. I had about a 4-hour trek to get over here, off up in the woods somewhere, but it's okay. We're so excited. We are so excited to help a school district jumpstart their time back tomorrow. But again, at time I walked in, yeah, I made some coffee. It's probably against my better judgment, but I actually have coffee. And here, what's in your cup tonight? Remember when we were talking about making boss moves for this new year? Hear me and hear me well. We have the opportunity to recreate who we are every single day. And so, the last live that we did, we talked about how do you reflect? How do you reflect in a way that you don't end up beating yourself up? Because that is easy to do, my friends. It is so easy to look back on what did not happen or what happened in a way that we did not want to and get stuck. That's not what we're doing. And even today, we're talking about how do we hit the ground running for this new year. And you guys know what Boss Move stands for. It stands for us being bold, optimistic, spontaneous, and substantial. And I am declaring that for everybody. And you see my hand, I'm declaring that for every single person that's joining this live tonight, whether you're on it now or you're going to listen to it later, that this year you would get the courage. Okay, I'm sit back in my seat, y'all. Get the courage to show up in space as the realest version of yourself. Let me say it again. Because we are not being truthful if we say that it's easy to walk in being your. It's not, because it's human nature for others to look and judge us if there's anything different about us. But y'all get this: every single person is different. So how wild is it that we walk through life and we're constantly trying to shift for people that are shifting for people that are shifting for people that like. Okay, so it does take courage, but I wish that for you this year. I'm sending you those vibes so that you would do that, because it's going to be your secret sauce. For those of you that are in business, you feel like you're on a slump, I promise you, you got to figure out how to brand yourself so that you are the very most positive and purpose version of you, not anybody else, right? Then optimistic, y'all. The world is crazy. Do you hear me? Crazy. I almost got stuck. Like 2 more seconds, I would have been stuck out of the country, right? With all the things that happened a few days ago with Venezuela, right? There is so much chaos going around us that it is very easy to let that get in us. But y'all know what sinks ships? Not the water, because guess what? We can float around the world in the ship in the water. It's when the water gets in the ship that we sink. And so I want you to be reminded of that even though the world is crazy, hashtag protect your peace. protect your heart and protect your mind. And that's what being optimistic is all about. And it's about us looking at things realistically. It's like nobody's saying ignore the fact that you have a toxic staff. I'm not saying ignore the fact that you are dealing with some major imposter syndrome. I'm not saying ignore that. We have to deal with those things, but I promise you, if you view them through the perspective of how can we use what's there, strengths based, right? How can we use what's there to get to where we need to go? I promise you, we're all better for that. Spontaneous, y'all try something new. We know, I don't know about you, but I was caught myself several times in 2025 feeling like I was in a rut, right? And I've been very transparent, cycling through, grief, at least losing my sister. It was literally the middle of the year last year before I really felt like me and my mother started to truly process through what was happening and what had happened, right? And so there were so many times this past year that it was just tough. It was tough, right? But being spontaneous, not just sticking to the same routine, making myself try something new, do something new, truly did add life and energy back into my step. And so I want to challenge you to do that both personally and professionally, right? Spontaneous, try something new. We know the definition of insanity is what? To keep doing the same thing and you're expecting different results. Hashtag it ain't happening. So try something new this year. And then the last thing is this substantial. As we enter this new year, be reminded that your existence is to help somebody else's existence. All right? You are living, breathing, and operating because there is a very unique purpose in you that a multitude of people need to fulfill their purpose. And so that's what being substantial is about. We all have that dash to get to, and I promise you, it's a great day. It is January the 4th. 2026. And so it's a fantastic day to jumpstart that. Again, it does not matter how you operated, what you did last year. It's a brand new start. Hashtag, aren't you grateful for grace and a brand new slate? So y'all drop it in the chat. I'm ready to make boss moves in 2026. Just drop it in the chat for me. Boss moves in 2026. Again, do me a favor. Make sure you've liked this video. You've shared it with your friends because, again, we're getting the party started. And you guys know we are never here for a long time. We are here for a good time. So we're jumping right on in tonight. And the topic that we're talking about, it's a new year, but you got the same team. It's a new year, but you got the same family members. It's a new year, you got the same friends, right? You're ready for something new, but they are saying, oh no, we won't go. Oh no, we won't go. So how do we get our teams on the same page moving forward as we jump into this new year? And so that is what we are truly talking about. Again, yes, we are making boss moves in 2026. Dr. Streeter, we're so excited about our time. She said, I see you, Doc. She said, I'm already making moves. And there's something else I want to challenge us this year is, y'all, we got to learn to stand boldly in who we are. We've got to learn to stand confidently in who we are and stop minimizing your impact. Like, you've got to learn to open up your mouth and declare just that. Stop, right? It's okay to say, I am good at this. It's okay to say, I have expertise in this. It's okay to say, I have experience in this. It's okay to acknowledge that you put in all of that work and you know a little bit of something. It's okay. And so I love you for that. I'm ready to make boss moves this year. So here we go. We're jumping right on in. What do we do? And y'all know how I jump in when I'm solo. Make sure as you are going forward as well this year that we are taking a few more clients, and not a lot more, but a few more clients. And so if you are ready to get some boss action in your school, your organization, we are ready. All you got to do is send us an email at contact@bosseducator.com. Here's the first tip, and y'all drop it in the chat for me. Don't drag people, design bridges. What do you think I mean by that? Don't drag people, design bridges. I think so often we forget that everyone has agency. Let me say that again. I don't care if you're the president of the United States. I don't care if, you're a parent even, and that's a tough one to talk about. But even as a parent, I have to acknowledge that Tyler Jacob, at this age of 13, he has thoughts, he has feelings, and he has agency, right? And so often when we're in tough situations and we know we need change, like, hashtag, something has got to change. Matter of fact, as a leader, you have this big vision. and you can see it. Imagine this, right? I am standing on the Mississippi side of the Mississippi River in Vicksburg, and I want my team to get to the Louisiana side, like there, all along there, and even in Natchez, like you literally are standing on one side of the Mississippi River, you are in Mississippi, the other side, you're in Louisiana. So, as a leader, we often find ourselves in the position of we're standing on the banks of the river. And we can see, like, we have big vision, we have big goals. We understand that, especially for those that are us in schools, like, if we don't get this right in the school, we are killing our baby's future. Like, you get it, you feel it. It is heavy. The load is heavy as a leader, right? We get it. But it's like, how do I get these people in this building to see that we've got to go from here, we've got to get over across this river to the other side? What I want to say to you is hashtag they can't swim. They can't, they can't swim, friends. Okay. They can't swim. They're afraid of water. Let me let that sink in. You're on one side of the bridge on the Mississippi River, right? You're on one side of the Mississippi River. You want the team to go to the opposite side, but they don't they don't know how to swim. They're afraid of water. You've got to build a bridge. You've got to operate in a way that lets them see, I value what you brought to the table up until this point. I see all of the hard work. And listen, we are going to take that forward as we forge ahead into this new land. This is how we can use what we're standing on. We're just elevating, right? We're going to go step by step. We're building this bridge together. But again, we've got to get out of the mind frame of we can make adults do anything. Hashtag you got gray hair. Matter of fact, do you have a mirror close by? Look in and see. And I tell y'all, I am frazzled. I literally just got out running up here to get out of this. But look in the mirror. Do you have some extra gray hair as you're coming into this new year? We've got to remember, like, people have agency. We cannot drive. I don't care how strong. And y'all, I'm in the gym. I got to get back in there. I've been slacking the last 2 weeks. I tell you, I've been living my best life. Resetting, a deep reset is what I did, right? But I don't care how strong I am. I don't care how much I can lift. I can physically drag you across somewhere. But y'all know the something. Your body's here with me, but your mind is on the other side of town. And so much, matter of fact, the research shows us that 70% of initiatives fail, not because you don't have all the systemic parts together, but because mentally people have not checked in with you, right? They are like, okay, whatever. Like, I see this, I see the layout, I see the plan, but hashtag I'm checked out, right? So it's very important that you keep that in mind. You are going to save yourself by understanding you cannot drag people, but you can clearly and very succinctly and very strategically build these bridges that people see. Oh, we going over there, and you know what? I don't like the water. I'm not gonna look down, but I'm gonna get on this bridge because it looked like she made it out of the right things, right? And she's on the bridge first. She's going across the bridge first, and we're gonna go with her. So again, when leaders don't acknowledge people's experience and what they've brought to the table as you're trying to go to somewhere new. And this is change management, right? There are some corporations that I am working with straight up with change management, right? Because change is hard. We can say we want to get from A to Z, but what's the transition plan? Drop that in the chat. What's my transition plan? I see you. How do we get them to check in? We're talking about that. So part of getting them to check in is to acknowledging where they are. Like, pausing and say, hey, where are you? And even with the last S in boss, that substantial piece, it's so critically important that y'all know one of my favorite movies, What's Love Got to Do with It, when Lorraine realized that Tina was there and she wasn't going nowhere. And remember the scene where they were about to haul her out because she had tried to take her cell phone out. She said, why is she here, Ike? Why is she here? Right. And so many times in our organizations, we've got to pause. That check-in is a true, honest pause and say, all right, let's sit around the table. Let's get around in a circle, because y'all know psychology shows us that when people are in tough conversations, it's critically important that you look at how people are situated. So if you can get your team to sit in a circle, even if it's a massive one, right? Sit around a circle. Say, what are we individually here? And how does that play into our collective purpose here? Because again, especially for those of us in education. Literally, you can go to McDonald's and make more money right now working in McDonald's than you can in education. That's fact. So it's got to be bigger than the money piece. So why are we here? And so we've got to find that common ground. Drop it in the chat. Common ground. Common ground builds connection. Common ground strengthens the bonds, right? And so that's part of what we've got to have to design the bridges, to keep the bridge up and standing so that we can get across the mighty Mississippi right to the other side. So keeping in mind that you are killing yourself if you are thinking that, yeah, I don't care how smart you are, I don't care how many awards, I don't care how much I listen. I don't care. Do you hear me? Do you hear me? Do you hear me? You cannot drag people. We've got to design bridges that they see are safe bridges. Because it's the other piece. Y'all know the three little pigs. You can't be like the first pig, building the bridge out of straw and think that I'm with my logical, analytical brain gonna get on it. Hashtag, oh no, we won't go. Right. And so we've got to ask, where is the common ground? Again, common ground helps us do that. This is something else that I want you to think about for this particular one. When you're talking about we can't drag people, we've got to design bridges. Language. Language matters. Language matters. Y'all know, you hear me say it every single time. Chapter 11 of Boss Moves. Chapter 11 is language that lives. What are you letting come out of your mouth as a leader? And I don't care if you're talking about in your home, because sometimes we forget, like, these are people, human beings in our homes too, that have agency. How are you talking to your husband? How are you talking to your wife? How are you talking to your kids? How are you talking to the dog? Do you know that there is research that supports that people that talk kindly to plants? Do you hear me what I am saying to you? Google it. Don't take my word for it. There is research that shows if you talk kindly to your plants, they will grow differently than if you are being harsh with them. So imagine if plants are adjusting how they move and they grow based on the language and the tone that you're using around them. What are we doing to the people? Language matters, language matters. And so this is a very specific example of that. Um, it's time for something new to happen. And you say this, you know what? That's over. We're not doing that more anymore. Moving on. Hashtag I'm guilty. I'm guilty of at some point in my career as a leader saying something similar, maybe not the exact tone, but there's a time where you have to put your foot down with certain people, right? So I'm guilty of that. And I think most of us are, personally or professionally. But we've got to learn. We've got to learn that language piece, the way that we communicate, is going to drive people to get on the bus with us, or they're going to hashtag put the brakes and put holes in the tire for you. Do you hear me? That is a real thing. People will put stumbling blocks in your way if we are not communicating in a way that resonates as I see you, I respect you, I value you, right? So this is an example of that. Language, when we're talking about transition, we're not doing that no more. That's over. End of story. Short, we've done that. How about we use language like, you know what? I see what we've done up until this point. I see what you brought over until this point that worked for us. And this is how we're going to use that to carry us forward. Drop it in the chat. We will use it to carry us forward, right? People feel like you're dismissing, disvaluing them often during the change management process when we just go cold turkey, cold stop. Nope, hashtag we ain't doing that no more. It didn't work. Whether it worked or not, right? You got to remember, do I want to have total autonomy, or do I want to impact achievement? And if the goal is to impact achievement, whether you're in a corporation or a school, I've got to be intentional with my words. And sometimes, y'all, I have to, under there, I cannot tell you how many times in meetings, at staff meetings, or with a parent or with a colleague, like I have had to stump my own toe. Have you ever had to do that in real life? Like, nope, don't say that. Fix your face. In real life, talking to myself, because I understood at that point the value of how I was communicating, what I was saying, and how I was saying it. And so that's one of those lifelong things that I think all of us as leaders, like, we should constantly, constantly, constantly be working on getting better at communication. So again, that first one is don't drag people, design bridges. And we do that through connections, and through the way that we communicate. So again, drop that in the chat for me. Don't drag people, design bridges. That's how we get the people stuck from where they are to coming across the mighty Mississippi with us. Here is tip 2. Think about this. Vision without clarity creates anxiety, not alignment. And it really ties into the same thing that I was just saying. Like, we can have this big picture, but if we are not clearly communicating what we are doing, why we are doing it, that leaves a lot of holes. That leaves a lot of voids. Drop in the chat for me what feels voids when people don't know what we got going on. Think about it. What would fill a void if there is a void in communication, if there is a hole in communication, if there is something lacking in communication? Blank will fill it. What's the blank? Fill in the blank for me. If there is a void, right, a hole, something missing in communication, what do people typically feel in that void? Drop it in the chat for me. And again, don't forget to make sure that you've liked this video. Oh, y'all, the GOAT is in the house. Hey, Principal Kafele, thank you for joining us so very much. We appreciate you so very much. Common ground, common ground. Y'all, what fills holes? When people don't know, they're having to make assumptions. What we make assumptions. And those assumptions typically are not in the positive. It's going to be some chaos. It's going to be some confusion. It's going to be some conflict. It's going to be all of the things that we don't want in our organization, right? And so, as we're talking about how do we get people to go to new lands in the 2026, how do we get our team to go to new levels? We've got to get crystal clear in communicating, right? Overly communicating. So many times I remember this. I love my little Monday memos and my little Friday focus. I just thought they were so cute. I thought they were cute. I thought they had everything that you needed on them. It was a little, here's what's happening every day this week. It was always motivational. It was always like all the things in a one pager. Yeah, I can't tell you how many times, somebody would ask the question and I said, did you, I would answer, but then I would follow, did you get your memo? Oh, well, yeah. Okay. Right. So many times we'll think that if we push it out one way, people get it. Nope, nope, nope. When we're talking about creating vision with clarity, you need to make sure that you are what you probably feel like is overly communicating, right? In multiple formats. So you got some people that they like their Monday memo, like they would put it behind their desk. Matter of fact, it's some people that still today can pull out all of them from a year's time, right? Because they like them. They like that visual reminder of what was happening. There were some people that lost it before it got in their hands good, right? They just wanted the email. Then you got some people that love the group me, right? But you got to remember, whatever formats that you have possible, you need to use all of them. And I know you might be thinking as a leader, why? These are grown folks. Listen to me. I'm a realist. You might be thinking, why? As my dear friend used to say, you get a check. You get a check. Everybody around here gets a check. So why am I? But again, we've got to be real. We got to be real about where we are in society, where we are as people in management, right? What do you want to be successful? Do you want to be impactful, or do you want to say, you know what? Back in the day, when I first started education, my principal did not have to ask me twice to do anything. She did not. She didn't have to ask anybody else on the hall. It wasn't just me, whether you were new on the team or old on the team. We had a respect for her, right? We had a respect for what we were doing. But again, as society changes, we see that in our buildings. We see that in our organizations. And so we've got to ask ourselves, do I want impact or do I want to stay comfortable? And they typically don't. They don't go together. So you've got to make sure that, as you're moving forward, your clarity comes through the communication. You've got to over communicate. There's no way around it. You got to say it 1,000 times. Matter of fact, record yourself. If something needs to be said tomorrow to your team, just go ahead and practice. Record yourself and send it out, play it. Like, put it out on the memo, put it on the newsletter. You've got to do all of these things. Again, you might be saying, why? Why should I? I'm with you because I'm an old school traditionalist. No, we shouldn't have to, but hashtag, this is where we are. And if we want to have impact where we are now, we've got to activate the pivot, right? And so I am trying to save you some extra gray hair. Y'all know I had dyed my hair. It was blonde. I was so glad that it came out, right? That it finally grew out. I cut it all out. It grew. It's cut out, but y'all, my little black coming back through. My gray. And I'm okay with my gray. Right? Because it's not coming from me being stressed out, trying to drag people somewhere that they don't want to go, right? It's not coming from that. And so you will give yourself undue stress. And I cannot say that enough through every time you hear me talk. Y'all, we are killing ourselves with stress. So we've got to find ways to de-stress, yet have the impact that we want to have with our teams. And so again, keeping that in mind, over communicate. However many platforms you have, do it. And listen, who doesn't have to be you? Drop that in the chat. You've heard me say that before. When we're talking about leadership and getting change to happen, y'all, you can't do it alone. So you might start with one. Y'all have seen the video where the man starts with one person on top of the hill by himself. He goes, and then before you know it, everybody's rolling. So start with where you are, who you are, but find the people that they look like they're a little bit ready. Grab them to go with you first, right? To get the movement going, to get the ball going where you need to go. But again, clarity is going to help with alignment and decrease anxiety. And that's what we want for our team. When people feel levels of anxiety in the workplace, it decreases performance. When people feel stressed, they're not giving you their most creative genius. It's impossible. Our brain does not work that way, right? And so we've got to constantly be thinking, okay, yeah, we've got the work. Let's say you're in a school. Yes, the work is teaching and learning, but I am managing people. I'm managing people, right? So psychology has to come into play. And if we are not creating environments where people feel as safe as they possibly can be, if we're not creating environments that is as stress less as it can be, I'm a realist. The nature of the beast, y'all, society is wild. So schools are wild. I don't care if you're in a high performing or low performing. It's something crazy everywhere, right? But it's best we can creating these environments where the people who are in them feel safe, they feel seen, and they feel like it's a place that they can grow. It's a part of our job as leaders. It's a part of our jobs as a parent, right? In your households, even talking personally, I cannot tell you the deep conversation that I have with my child that my mom didn't have to have it with me at 13 because that was not the nature of the beast of society. Okay. It's a whole different animal. And so we've got to ask ourselves, what are we doing right now at this point to make sure that we are creating clarity around what we need? So y'all drop that in the chat for me. Clarity creates alignment. Clarity creates alignment and decreases anxiety, right? So here we go. So tip one was don't drag the people, design those bridges. Tip two, we're talking about vision without clarity creates vision without clarity creates anxiety, not alignment. So we want to make sure we keep it clear. Here we go. Walk it like you talk it. Thought tip three, when we're talking about a new year and getting our team to go, I used to use this one. It was one of our principles of practice was walk the talk, right? Walk the talk. You must be the change you are willing to see. And I cannot say that enough. You better believe that if you're saying, y'all, we need to work on de-escalation around here, somebody is pushing your buttons just to see hashtag what's she gonna do. What's she gonna do if we pull the chair from under her when it's time to sit down? What are we gonna do if we send the child that we know irritated and ready to cuss everybody out? We gonna send it straight to her. What let's see how she responds. That is human nature. People they listen to what you do 1,000 times faster than what you say. Let me say that again. They listen to what you do 1,000 times faster than what you say. And so again, keeping in mind, if you want to have impact, we've got to operate that way. So you got to ask yourself, how do we cultivate collaboration even in the walk? Again, you're going to kill yourself, and I'm being very crystal clear and very direct with that. If you are trying to lead along this year, let's go ahead and write out your obituary. Let's go ahead and let's go ahead and get your doctor's appointments for your blood pressure medicine to be increased. Let's go ahead, let me go ahead and buy you some Miss Clairol. That's what the people used to use back in the day, right? For their diet. Let me go do those things for you right now, because you're setting yourself up for unnecessary hurt, right? You're setting yourself up for unnecessary stress. So I want you to know that it's critically important that as you're talking about walk it like you talk it, let's say in the building, we're working on PLCs, and there is somebody in the building who is phenomenal. I'm talking about phenomenal at analyzing their data and using that data to drive instructional change. Who doesn't have to be you? And walk it like I talk it. Walk it like I talk it could be, you know what? I realize that this person is walking the talk on data analysis to instructional practice. We need to let's see what she's doing, right? So even the walk it like you talk it is really shedding the light and shining the light on those who are walking the talk as well. That's a critical, important part of that. So again, y'all, drop this in the chat for me. Being a good leader requires a whole bunch of maturity. We don't talk about that enough. I think it's like this assumption that, yeah, but in 2026, common sense is not so common. So I want to affirm you that what you are doing as a leader takes a lot of work, a lot of effort that most people could not handle even on their best day. And that's not a slight on them. It's just hashtag everybody's not built for it. And that is okay. Hashtag we are all different, but give yourself some grace. But again, remember that as you're talking about walk it like I talk it, I have had to eat some words, I've had to eat some actions because I did not want to compromise the team. Right. I did not want to compromise the hard work and the trajectory of the movement that the team was getting. So talking about walk it like you talk it, you really, really, really got to model the things that we want to have seen in the building. And then this is the last tip that we want to remind you guys of. Momentum comes from wins, not from warnings. Drop it in the chat. Wins, not warnings. Drop that in the chat. Wins, not warnings. And make sure you've liked this video. I appreciate you guys for being on. It is so good to see y'all. Again, thank y'all for giving me grace. I told y'all I am on two wheels. I'm gonna have to go back downstairs real quick and move the car. But thank you guys for giving me grace. And I'm literally on two wheels talking fast because I just got off the road. I gravely underestimated my travel time this afternoon as it got dark. Y'all, I'm getting old, so I need to make sure my glasses are near and they were not near. So I had to slow way down. But again, wins, not warnings. So often when we're talking about change management theory, it is human nature as leaders and those in authority to think, you know what, they didn't get it right. I'm finna knock them out. I'm finna go ahead and catch it, nip it in the bud early. And we do need to make sure that we're addressing things early and often. Drop that in the chat. I need to address things early and often. I need to address things early and often, but the manner in which you address them, I want you to find that fine balancing act, right? You got to find the balance, the sweet spot for that thing to stay in alignment. What research has shown us time and time again in neuroscience, it tells us that people change behavior faster off of dopamine, right? Than they necessarily do with just consequences. Think about this. Why are you stuck playing Candy Crusher for hours at midnight? Hashtag I'm talking about you. Why do you keep like you getting that every time it says ding, dopamine to the brain? It sends this, that was good, right? And so when we are intentional about celebrating the change that we see, that we want to see, and it does that for your organization. It's that dopamine boost that the individual and the collective body needs, right? And so I want to remind you that there is so much proof that when people are affirmed, they will give you that behavior multiple times faster than they would you just saying you were wrong for whatever behavior before. So like we have a new puppy around. His name is Bruno. This is real life. We got another puppy. His name is Bruno, right? Already, Bruno is so smart. He is a full-blown poodle. Y'all, he is quite interesting. Already, like he a busybody. I've never had a puppy this busy, this young. So like already he responds really well to praise versus no Bruno, right? And not to compare people to animals, but it's behavior, right? And so thinking about behavior, we've got to keep in mind that fear creates compliance. And if we're talking about change management and we're talking about we really want people to do the right thing because it's the right thing to do, not because they think I saw them doing the wrong thing, right? I want them to really go in that classroom and shut the door and give it all they got because it's their driving force, not because they think it's evaluation day. Or you know what? The lead manager for the night shift of Wendy's know the 8 o'clock is a slow time and they can get away with doing less because nobody's watching them. No, that's not. We want people to do the right thing in our organization because it is the right thing to do. We want them to jump on board with the change because it's going to give us greater wins as an organization. And if we want that to happen, we've got to become intentional and systemic with celebrating the things that we want to have seen in the organization, right? So many leaders overuse urgency and underuse evidence. Let me say that again. When we're talking about change management, right? Change theory, it's a whole world of information. It's a whole different, a specific area within psychology and behavior, right? That when we're talking about that, we've got to remember that we shouldn't overuse, oh, it's urgent, 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 urgent. Because guess what happens? If you're constantly telling everybody everything is urgent, drop it in the chat. What happens? If everything is urgent, then hashtag nothing is urgent. So often when we're talking about changing things, it's like, oh, she said that last week. That was a big deal last week, and now it's not. Right? Everything, if everything is urgent, then nothing is urgent. So keeping that in mind as well. And so this week, as you get ready to start the new year with your team, most of us, whether you're in a school or corporation, most of us are jump starting tomorrow. I want you to think through, what's one behavior that you want to have spotlighted for the week. You know what? I know, again, you got the big picture. Remember, you're on the Mississippi bank of the Mississippi River, and you're trying to get the team to the Louisiana bank. You got the big picture. You built the bridge, right? What are you celebrating to get them to press the gas as they're driving their car across that long bridge? What is the thing that you want to celebrate? And drop it in the chat for me right now, because we want to help each other think through, what is one very specific behavior that you know is in alignment with the vision and is helping you move your organization forward, that you know you need to see more of in your organization. What's that one thing? Pick one very specific thing out and get ready to celebrate this week. Make it a micro, it could be a micro win, but you want to make sure that you're celebrating it both individually and publicly, right? And see how that works. So again, tonight I want to drop back through very, very briefly, because we've been on just a little longer than I normally will be, but you guys have been amazing. Make sure you've liked this video. Make sure you've shared, tag someone. Remember, tip one, we're talking about how do we move teams. Don't drag people, design bridges. Tip two was, remember, vision without clarity creates anxiety. And remember, when people go into anxiety mode, stress goes up, performance goes down. It's that simple. If people are stressed out, I guarantee you they're not giving you your best performance. They can't. Our bodies and our minds aren't situated to do that. So be keeping sure that communication can make that thing go up or down. And depending on if it's up, if it's anxiety is up, performance is down. So we want to make sure that we're doing our due diligence and communicating, overly communicating. Remember, walk it like you talk. You got to be the billboard, my friend. You got to be the billboard. If you want your folks to be more professional, hashtag big up. What are you doing to model that for them? If you want people to be more engaged with students, what do they see you doing when students are walking by? Right? Same thing with customer service, y'all. Customer service in general is horrible in most places now. You don't hear me talk like that, right? But if you're leading people and you know you have a customer service oriented business, how does the team see you interacting with the customers? How do they see you interacting with the clients, so that they know what is expected? And then remember, tip and thought for momentum comes from wins, not from warnings. Y'all know I'm a teacher, so come on with it. You know what to do next. What's your one takeaway from tonight? Make sure that you've shared this video, you've liked it. And right now, in this very moment, I can't say thank you enough for jumpstarting my work week, right? For the new year. And so I'm so glad you guys joined me to do just that. So right now in that chat for me, drop, what's your one takeaway from tonight, as we're talking about, you know what, it's a new year. I got the same team. I believe in them, but they're stuck. How do I move forward? What's your one takeaway from tonight? And don't forget, book the boss. We are so excited to come be with you. Yes, we do virtual things all the time, and I'm very glad to do those, but there is nothing like being in person with a boss experience with our team. And so we're always ready to come provide keynotes, coaching, executive coaching for sure, professional development sessions. Tomorrow we're starting a PD that is going to be retreat style. So we are so super excited about that. But no, all you got to do is drop in the email, contact@thebosseducator.com, and we are more than happy to help you activate leadership. Remember, leadership is action. It doesn't matter if it's the student, the parent. We want to activate leadership in everyone, because if everyone is acting in alignment for the purpose of the meeting the goals of the organization, hashtag you're winning, right? And so I want you to think about that even going into the new year. Everybody needs some leadership training. Everybody in your building needs some leadership training, because we want everyone to use their agency, right, for achievement. Let me say that again. We want everybody to use their agency in alignment for achievement. So again, what's your one takeaway from tonight? What's your one takeaway from tonight? And I do know there is a lag in my internet tonight. Y'all know I came in real quick and got on. But again, what is your one takeaway from tonight? I love it. She says, wins, not warnings. She said building bridges. Absolutely. Remember, we want to not drag people along. We don't want to do that. We want to build those bridges. Remember, y'all, it's always a great day to be you. And I am wishing you guys, matter of fact, I am not even so proud to say that I am praying that everybody who is on this call and everybody that's connected to you, that you would experience a next level peace first. Let me say that. I'm sending peaceful vibes to you. I want you to experience joy, love, all of those things, because when you feel those true priceless gifts, you're able to then step into a deeper level of your purpose and create the type of impact that you're supposed to have on this earth. So again, I am wishing you guys the most amazing year you've ever had. Y'all, 26 represents a new, it represents a new start. It's in essence, in numerology, one, a clear, fresh slate. And so if there's something in your life that you've been wanting to do, something you've been wanting to try, this is a phenomenal year to kick it into gear. Y'all, it's a great day to be you. It's a great day to be us. It's a great year to make some boss moves. So y'all drop that in the chat. Go making boss moves in 2026. Boss moves in 26. All 2026. We're going to be bold, optimistic, spontaneous, and substantial. I want to see each and every one of you at some point throughout the year. But again, go be great. Go be boss.